So I want to show some other documentations regarding these movements, like the Black Panthers and all of this, and how what was happening, and the reason they had to be surveilled is because there were outside actors that wanted to infiltrate them, and would go so far as to even go out of the country, get plastic surgery done just to try to re-enter. Okay, so people like Huey Newton, who was out of Chicago, and Bobby Seals, I would say, but definitely Huey Newton, okay? He was, I think he was a legit, true believer in the Black Panthers, okay? And the poor kid he got killed. I just think that he was somebody that believed in the cause. The problem with these causes is they're always tied to revolutionaries that want to overthrow America. They just are. And so, you know, true believers like him get caught in that crossfire, and it's not right. You know, I everything I've read about him, he was a true believer. I feel bad for him. However, you know, and he called out he saw this fact, these, like, they call them in this document Cleaver Factions, and it's like a splinter group that creates itself and calls itself the Black Panthers, but it's up to something bad. Okay, so then that's why you have to have your intelligence agencies. Now, let me just say this before I continue. The people that are getting in my comment section and making subtle threats at me, look, JFK is their last thing to hold up. He was a progressive Democrat. He's been given hero status all over the world, okay? The Democrats are the anti-American party. It's clearly obvious on every single level. I'm sorry if you were once or if you're still a Democrat, but you're anti-American, okay? And so the fall of JFK, they will not allow to happen. And again, did Lyndon Johnson or any of these people, they should have put the CIA back in place the way it was before Kennedy blew it up into a total mess that ended up creating all of these groups all across America. Before he did that, we did not have these radical groups. We didn't have these radical groups blowing up buildings, causing riots in cities, all this stuff. Not until he did that to the CIA. So some of these documents talk about the Black Panthers, and so let me just go through them. And again, because on TikTok they're suppressing my video, because this actually tells you exactly what these groups are about. CPU, so this will probably be shadow banned, but I'll give it a try. CPUSA is the Communist Party of the United States, as you can see here. They wanted Emery Flory, or Ishmael Flory, who was part of the Communist Party of the United States, to select 5 young Black Americans to go on tour to the Middle East, specifically Jordan and UAR. Purpose of trip was to propagandize Arab positions among blacks in the U.S., okay? Okay, this is talking about the Black Panthers. And it goes through the names, and then it says, arrived in Paris from Algiers in late March. Clandestine organization has provided them lodging and training during their stay in France. The group is now trying to arrange plastic surgery and false documentation to permit their clandestine re-entry into the U.S. Okay? So and then the rest is just that they're following for, more on this. It actually goes on to say, request on an urgent basis any available photos of above individuals to aid them in identifying them before surgery takes place. This says apparatus participating in support of 6 American Black militants and hijackers who recently living in Algeria. Curiel said 3 of them, 2 men and 1 woman, now France, 2 women and 1 man, now Switzerland. those in Switzerland living in every precarious clandestine status and should be removed ASAP. Curiel said entire group determined to return clandestinely to the U.S. and continue revolutionary activity. Group convinced that before leaving Europe, they should accept political ideological training. According to another sensitive source, hijackers in Algiers requested in mid-February 8 titre de voyage documents for persons listed below. Eldridge Cleaver, although I'm not going to read the names, although he reported to have left Algiers early February, a source believed Algerian government would provide travel documents. No info available, their destination or actual departure. Following are hijackers who are believed in Algiers as of mid-February. Above 6 may be from this group. So you could see William Holder, Catherine Marie, who's the common law wife of Holder, George Brown, a.k.a. George Singleton. Speculate hijackers left Algiers with true name documents, but may be using other documentation for residence purposes. Possibly that Holder, who spokesman for group and head of international section of BPP in Algiers, and BPP is Black Panther Party. So the international section of the Black Panther Party in Algiers may have remained in Algiers. No objection informing liaison that all or some above may have left Algiers and that there are rumors that they may be in France and Switzerland. Please inform, blah, blah, blah. And then it says request any more information. Further abroad, and will provide your Bureau with any additional information or pertinent information obtained. The above information is being made available to your Bureau in response to your request for information on activities of the Cleaver Faction, which the Cleaver Faction was considered a sect that had splintered off from the Black Panthers. Located in foreign countries as transmitted in your teletype 004, okay, dated March 1971, subject, Black Panther Party, Cleaver Faction, racial matters. Yeah, because they like to cause racial wars, and it's all about revolution to these people. The information in this report is being provided to your Bureau with the understanding that it will receive no further dissemination other than to your appropriate field offices without the prior approval of this office, and that any reference to it in the internal Bureau documents will state only that it was obtained from a confidential source. And as I showed yesterday, all of this goes back to the Communist Party, okay? And it goes back to your Islam stuff. So this was 1969. New York, who in 1969 was a writer for the Muhammad Speaks official publication of the Nation of Islam and friend of Harry Winston, national chairman of Communist Party, United States. Okay? And then this... all these people are connected to the Communist Party. Then they pull people in that are innocent bystanders, like your Huey Newton out of Chicago, who have good intentions. But the problem is that usually these groups, because they're backed by such big money, they're just out to destroy America. And that's then how people like, poor Huey Newton, in my opinion, he had good intentions, but was pulled into these movements. So, and I'm bringing this up because it's all part of this same problem, because the Cleaver Faction was a radical, and Huey Newton recognized it. The Cleaver Faction refers to a splinter group within the Black Panthers led by Eldridge Cleaver, who was mentioned in here, who was the Minister of Information and a prominent figure in the party. Cleaver advocated for escalating armed resistance into urban guerrilla warfare. And Huey Newton's approach was focusing on community, bringing people together.